This is the news at 5 on the ABC 10 Information Network. I'm Chris Thomas. Well, history is made this afternoon in Sacramento. The former Roseville police chief and Sacramento native Daniel Hahn is sworn in today as the city's first African-American police chief. Well, now the work begins. ABC 10's Becca Habegger is live from McClatchy Park. That is where the new chief is meeting community members. Becca.
Chris, that's right, and he just came from Sac State, his alma mater, where the swearing-in ceremony happened. You know, Chief Hahn was surrounded by supporters, and two of my favorite moments in the swearing-in ceremony. Number one, his two daughters pinned his chief badge to his uniform, and secondly, as he was taking the oath of office, he had his arms slung around his 78-year-old mother, Mary Hahn, who he considers his guiding light and his biggest fan. But she was not the only fan in the audience. There were a lot of enthusiastic people at the swearing-in ceremony. Now, in his speech, Hahn talked about being adopted at 3 months old, losing his dad at age 5. He says, statistically, I shouldn't be here up on this stage. I had a lot of challenges in my childhood. But he talked about the power of his mother and her moving the family to Oak Park so her kids could have a tight-knit community of support. You know, he reminisced about his childhood growing up here, playing basketball, buying ice cream at Gunther's. His voice was filled with affection, and lots of people in the audience nodded and laughed along with him. He was even a paper boy for the Sac Bee as a kid. So that is why his choice of venues at today's events were in line with his love for his hometown.
I thought Sac State was a great outside of downtown, out in the community, a very critical part of our community is Sac State. And then McClatchy Park is definitely in the neighborhood. It's a place I played basketball in the park every day. And so it not only had a personal, special meaning to me, but it is out in the community.
Chief Hahn spoke about his top priority upon assuming office, building relationships with the community. He may be Sac PD's 45th police chief, but he's the city's first black chief. He says trust between the community and police is built on relationships. He also wants officers to feel valued and feel job satisfaction. He talked about the importance of transparency in policing. And he says he will honor Sacramento's role as a sanctuary city, saying he wants every resident here to feel safe and able to come to police if they need to. Finally, the uniform Chief Hahn was wearing today was the same uniform he had when he worked for Sac PD just over 6 years ago, before he became the Roseville police chief. And he told me today that the uniform, he actually had to have it taken in. And the 3 additional stars will be added to his uniform, signifying his years of service with Sac PD. Back to you.
Becca Habegger, I know that swearing-in ceremony just ended in the last hour. We thank you so much for bringing us that live report. And take a look. The new chief, Daniel Hahn, is an Oak Park